Hey everybody, welcome back. Icon here. Thanks for checking out another video. And finally, as we hop on board with Formal here, finally we have a Toronto Ultra Scrim. So this is the very first time. This is like my 53rd, 54th episode into this. And this is the very first time that we've seen a Scrim, at least one that's been broadcasted, of Toronto Ultra. So I'm super excited for that. Real quick, before we get too far into this, let me go ahead and show you what exactly teams are trying to do at this exact moment. So as we go ahead and bring this up, I just want to show you real quick that there's a good spawn right here, which is where Chicago spawned. There's a bad spawn over here, which is where Toronto spawned. So essentially what Chicago is trying to do is just lock down this left flank. They're also trying to send people through showers and send somebody to watch down this right flank. If you're Toronto, what you want to be trying to do is take this outside flank and just get all the way behind so that you can flip these spawns. If you can flip those spawns, then you can set up spawns for the second hill. Now, on this map, there are a couple things that are super clutch. So the second hill and the fifth hill are the hills where you're really going to win this match. So if you have 50 seconds on both of these hills, this is where you're really going to end up winning this map. So at the beginning here, as this is rotating, what teams are trying to do is, of course, you want to send people through the right side through woods and up through this middle head glitch, but it's really important to just try to contest this middle hill as much as I can. So contest this middle hill and then try to get people through these flank routes over here so that you can flip spawns going into the second hardpoint. So as we get back to the footage, just pay attention to that and see if they're being effective, if that's something that's happening or not happening. All right, so as we head back into this courting, the first couple things that we'll notice here is that Chicago has done a nice job of locking down the left side of the map over here. So nobody has been able to get through. There's been probably 6 or 7 kills by now on the left side of the map. Now, at the beginning there, one thing that I do want to point out is that if you look at the minimap, watch when Formal comes off spawn right now. So if you're looking at the minimap, there is a blue arrow over on that right side. Now, I wish we could do Codcaster mode. I wish that I could see exactly who that is because that way we could watch the kill feed and see if that person goes down. But essentially right now, you might look at the score and say Chicago's down by 10, but this does not matter at all. All they're trying to do is just lock down the spawn. Now, I'm not sure if somebody pushed through, so the only reason why Formal would throw that stun right there is just to check and see if somebody's back there. So maybe they were just a little bit unsure, but at this point in time, I would like Formal to be pushed out. See, I don't like him being in the hard point like that. I'm not really sure. I think there was a little bit of confusion in terms of who was back there, but now Toronto pushed out that left side of the map, which is why Chicago is spawning on the right side. So nobody really has control of the back spawn. Somebody just has control of the left spawn, and somebody has control of the right spawn. Let me show you that real quick. So real quick, again, on this second hardpoint, what you would want to do is you want to hold down this back spawn and you want the enemy to spawn out mid-map. What happens a lot of times is that if this enemy team ends up starting to push over this side, then as they try to filter into the hill here, then the team that has that back spawn will spawn on the opposite side. So what you were watching right there is Toronto had this spawn, Chicago had this spawn, and now they're trying to filter in from both ways. So when we were watching that contesting on both sides of the map, nobody really had the better spawn. They were just spawning on both sides of the hard point. So I would expect the majority of this hill time to go uncontested. All right, so if we're looking at the top middle, there's about 14 seconds left, and it looks like Gunless was on rotation there. So Gunless was trying to rotate, but it looks like he got killed. That's a big two-piece from Methods. So Methods just got 2 over there by Cole, which is why when Formal comes off spawn, now he's going to be spawning out. So at this point in time, what they want to do is they want to push out that back warehouse so that they can flip spawns as it goes. Again, this third hard point, if you watched any of my videos before, it doesn't really matter in terms of which way you're approaching this third hard point. What does matter is that you're pushed up into the cuts, but you do want to have this back spawn for the fifth hard point because the fifth hard point, which is the one we talked about in the beginning, is back in warehouse. So it looks like there is somebody back there. I think I just heard Gunless say that he's back there. We'll see. RCDs gets a kill. There's somebody. So if you look at the kill feed, there's 4 down right now. That's the last one. So there's 5 down for Toronto. And with 20 seconds left, I would suspect that Chicago is going to get the rest of this 20 seconds. And then as it goes to the 4th hardpoint, that's usually contested time. And then as it gets to the 5th hardpoint, that's the important thing. So if you're up by, add another about 10 seconds to this, if you're up by 40 points going into that 5th hardpoint, you can stack probably about 50 of those points. So that's where you could go up by 90 points. But it's important to be able to hold down this flank. So let's go ahead and let me explain real quick what Formal's doing right now at this moment. So just real quick, I want to show what's going on. What you want to do is you want to contest this fourth hard point as much as possible. So Chicago does have this back spawn. So right now they're sending people up into hill. They're having somebody watch mid-map, and this is Formal's responsibility. He is looking down this line of sight over here because essentially if you are Toronto and you're spawning over here, which is where you don't want to be, a likely route to take is over here, flank through the sides, get through boxes, and then back behind warehouse. So that's what Formal's doing on that side of the map. He's just holding down that line of sight so that the enemy team can't flank behind them because, again, the second and the fifth hill are super important on this map. So it looks like, in terms of, if I'm looking at the minimap in the top left-hand corner, it looks like Chicago was spawning back on that third hardpoint location. So that's why, as people went down, so as Chicago went down, Formal went ahead and pushed up, and now you'll see that there's somebody behind them. So if people go down and there are some open routes immediately open, like right in the middle of the map, then Formal's going to rotate and watch that middle spot, and then as somebody comes off spawn, again, I don't know who that is. I can't really tell in terms of the kill feed, but whoever that was spawning on the left side, they picked up that route, and then everything rotated. Now, if you look and see where spawns are coming up in the mini-map, it looks like they're spawning right in the middle. So they still have to lock down that left side of the map. But with 2 seconds left, that's it right there. So you want to have somebody over there. I don't love the fact that Chicago doesn't have anybody watching those cuts. It'll be interesting to see. Gunless got a nice 2-piece, but so Gunless just went down. Let's see where he spawns. Well, I guess we can see where Formal spawns. I wish I could do Codcaster mode so bad. So Formal spawning out. Now, he did spawn behind somebody. So if Formal spawning over here in woods, that means that Toronto's spawning over in minecart. Let me show you that real quick, too. I know I'm taking a lot of breaks. I just want to make sure that we understand this all the way. So just real quick. Formal died over here, and when he came up, he spawned on this part of the map. So as he's rotating in, the only reason why they would spawn over here on woods is if the enemy was pushing through this minecart, this coal area. So you have to recognize when you come off spawns, what side you're on and what side the enemy team might be on. Just as if they were to come up on coal side, that means that the enemy's pushing through over on wood side. So as we get back through here, man, Chicago had a really good opportunity to really extend this lead and really push this game out. So now with only 20 seconds left, they're trying to send a couple SMGs. Gunless was just in there trying to contest so that they don't get all of that time. But now the most important thing is locking down that right flank. So that's one massive kill from Formal. Now, there was somebody else over there, so I'm not really sure. They could have gotten that killed and they could have communicated that. But essentially, as this goes back to the first hard point, we're back where we started. So you do want to try to watch this left, this right flank route. You want to get somebody in hill to contest if the enemy team gets in there, because it doesn't really matter much. Say if you give up 40 points on this first hill, then that really doesn't matter much in terms of keeping spawns for the second hard point if you give up 40 on this first hill. So you do want to have somebody up close contesting this, but I'm a little bit worried with whoever's over in woods. I'm not sure. I think what he was trying to do was just force that back coal hard point spawn. So Arcides right now, all he's doing, so the reason why he's pushed up in woods is that he's trying to force Toronto to spawn way back in the third hard point. And if they're spawning in the third hard point, then they're really far away from the second hard point. So not only were they trying to contest the hill right in the middle, but they were trying to control spawns so that they were nowhere near the second hard point. So as this is about to rotate back to the second hard point, it looks like everybody's spawning on the left side. So I was just watching the mini-map there, and as a couple people, Arcides came off of spawn, he spawned back here by Formal, which means that they were pushing the other side, right? If he would have spawned on the other side of the map, that would have meant that Toronto was pushing cargo over towards Formal. So it all depends on where people are spawning and what side of the hill they're on. And at that point in time, Formal, Seth, Arcides, everybody went down and they gave up spawns. So as this rotates, so that's a phenomenal job there of Toronto, pushing through that, gaining spawns, and taking over this hill time. And now they're really slaying out. If you're talking about just the slaying discrepancy in the last, I don't know, 45 seconds or so, it has totally gone Toronto's way. So this is a nice job of them getting back into the hard point here. So with that, as this rotates back to the other side of the map, to the third hard point, let's just go ahead. Let's listen in a little bit to hear their comms and what they're talking about. I'm interested to see what they're looking to do as we move forward here. Let's listen in.
Turning back up against front.
In pipes, too, in pipes.
Pushing me out.
Main the cross, I need to cross,
I'm giving up.
Stone cross.
So they're clearly pushing through Cole, so that's why there's so many stuns and nades going down on that choke point there.
Front. I have a trophy in a second.
I got 2.
Nice, good job, Zach. Good job, Zach. I have a trophy, Alec.
I'm absolutely my trophies now. There's a trophy you said?
I threw one. Walker's one shot, Danny.
I'm pinching again.
One's on the head glitch, and then one's on the coast.
So you would like somebody pushed up into pipes there. It looks like RC's was just trying to get up there.
Lay down here.
Pinching dead. One more.
Envoy should have just laid down there to try to contest that as much as possible. But now with 25 seconds left, Chicago is pushed back. Toronto is in control of the hard point, but they're not pushed up into the cuts. So you could easily just lay down on the stairs there and contest that time. That's exactly what they were doing. Gunless got a 3-piece. Formal ended up killing Cammy, but he also killed Gunless. But it looks like the last 10 seconds or so, that was a nice kill there, are probably going to go to Chicago. And then we'll see what happens as it rotates back to the 4th hill. Again, Chicago, you're really looking to lock down this back spawn for that 5th hard point. We'll see what happens.
He's like, dang, boxes.
I got him.
It's a nice call out there and kill by Seth in boxes as they were trying to push out that flank and get that back warehouse spawn.
I was saying you ran away.
Got 2 on time. You
Pick
have
up,
mid.
hold left.
He's close. Good job.
You're not holding left.
Yeah, there's nobody over on the left side. That's exactly what Formal kept saying with hold left, is that Seth was over there, but he wasn't pushed up into the cuts. So somebody easily could have. The problem with not being pushed up into those cuts is that easily could have been a 50-50 gun battle. You want to try to avoid that as much as possible, which is why you want to get out into that cut so you can catch people by surprise.
Holding left right now. Pick him up.
I'm
Smoke left. He's
I'm gonna try to push up all there.
I can see half wall. Wait, he's green?
Yeah, green.
I'm trying to find green.
I didn't stun him green. I think we're back towards front green.
Backing up.
Good job. I have time here.
I'm playing Forest.
Seth, put my back right.
And again, I don't like this either. I don't like when Formal's getting time in hill. He's one of the best, most dominant ARs for holding down lanes. He should not be the one getting time. The SMG should not be watching those longer flank, those sight lights on the left side over in woods. Formal needs to push out and let his other teammates with SMGs. That's exactly that right there. I get that Formal's kind of the way that the spawns worked out. He's the one in hill, but if an SMG go ahead and slides in there, especially with slide cancel, he can't with an M4. He can't finish that kill. He has to be in these positions to get these kills, like that one you see right there.
One more back up.
Somebody needs to tell them to rotate out on that last hard point there.
Good job. Yeah, all over force.
Why would you push out a time?
So right there, they called that they're spawning Forest. So all Formal's going to do is just flank all the way to the back. Now, what you would expect if you're an anchor right now is that while Formal's rotating back here, there would be somebody rotating back from Toronto also. So there is going to be some sort of a battle here for this back spawn. There has to be somebody on the other side of the map over there.
2 deep crates. One's open.
Netted right.
Yo, top open crate.
There's two crates.
So he called up that guy that was up top open crate. So that guy for Toronto that was rotating must not have rotated all the way back. He got killed by Metals. Metals just got a 2-piece. He's still alive. Somebody has to finish that kill so that they hold down spawns as it rotates again. That's a massive kill. So what I would do right now is I would expect Formal to hold down the left side of the map. As they come off of spawns, somebody would watch inside the hill and somebody watch right side. But if I'm Formal, if I'm Chicago, I want to hold down this left side of the map. I would just take this entire left side. Looks like that guy's going middle. He's going mid.
One shot right in front of you.
One bullet.
Formal has to get back to that left side of the map and hold it down.
I'm here. Hold right. I'm getting back left.
That's exactly what he just called. Somebody hold right. He's going to get back left.
Someone grab time.
In left crates.
Okay. Right's open.
Left.
Like someone's fucking up there then.
That's a dirty kill.
One's left.
I don't think they're gonna be right, but
I spawned right.
got one.
Open crate on me.
You're right.
Great, dead. They're all over right.
So essentially what Formal's doing is he's really locking down the left side of the map and that mid flank. Unfortunately, he can't see what's going on right now because of the smoke, which is why I hate smoke in respawn game types. But it looks like they're doing a decent job. They only need 3 seconds here. My guess is that that's going to be all. She wrote. It is contested. Nice job there by Formal holding down the left side of the map. That's why he's such a big part of teams like this, because you can just take one side of the entire map. Formal, go lock that down. He does that. He gets like a 6 streak there. He goes and locks down the left side of the map, and that's how they end up winning down the stretch there. So as we go back here, let's see what happened with kills as we get through this final kill cam. 40 from Seth. Unbelievable job in Hill. Looney had 35, and then Gunless in Hill. Formal over holding those flanks. Man, kills were really pretty even there. So with that, guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. If you're new around here, we are 4 days away from the Minnesota LAN, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. I can't wait to just sit here and watch this LAN and put out videos all weekend, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of that. Don't forget to leave a like before you head on your way, and with that, I will catch you guys in the next episode. We'll see you.